Hello my friends, how are you this fine Saturday morn or whenever you're watching this? My name's Rory Bentley and I occasionally do the odd rock and heavy metal album review. Today I'm going to be looking at an album that just literally came out yesterday by probably the best all-out rock and roll band in the world. Actually, no probably about it, definitely the best rock and roll band in the fucking world. Fuck the Rolling Stones. Fuck all this fucking posturing bullshit, this antiquated nonsense. There's one band that really has the vitality, the vigour, the intensity, the legitimacy that came with the original spirit of rock and roll, and that band is Clutch. And they are out with their new album, Psychic Warfare. Now, in 2013, they released their Earth Rocker, which since became one of my favourite albums ever. It's absolutely everything that's vital, brilliant, and uplifting about rock and roll music. They have mastered something which should be so simple and primal, and just taken it to a level of virtuosity that nobody can match. The live shows are incredible. The lyrics are just so original and arresting all the time. The rhythmic work between the drum and the bass, the way they're locked together, is the best. It's astonishing. So Earth Rocker was just the album that I just was desperate for Clutch to make, and it's just a massive celebration of the uplifting power of rock. There's people in the world that need rock music. Rock music's important, and this is a band that respects that. This is a band that actually cares about music at its core. No frills, no bullshit, no posing, no posturing, just that intense uplifting feeling which you can't replicate in any other music that I've not known in any other thing in life. And that's what Clutch does. So they had a really tough act to follow, because like I say, that was a massive celebration of the power of rock and roll, harking back to a time when it was dangerous and people had to fight for that expression in such a conservative environment in 1950s America, in times where, you know, it was outlawed. It was a dangerous thing, and your music was a weapon, and they just summed everything up perfectly in such a jaded environment where everything's so disposable. Clutch are everything I love about music. So this album, like I say, had a tough act to follow, and you know what? Bang! I'm going to come out of it. It's fucking brilliant. It is absolutely fantastic. This year has been an incredible year for rock and metal music. I was certainly getting quite jaded with a lot of new releases by established bands. There's a few things that have kind of let me down this year by established bands, which have been fine, like the new Lamb of God album. It's fine. Even if you go back to last year, the new Slipknot album, fine, more of the same. But this just gets me excited about music. And in a year of incredible releases, this is the best thing I've ever heard this year, at least. It continues on that really fast-paced, straight-ahead rock and roll approach that they took on the last album. You know, there's still that element of the blues that always creeps in, but it's not the kind of jammy southern rock style that they went through during the previous two albums. So they've just distilled this, and it's actually a faster, probably harder record than Earth Rocker in a lot of ways. But there's just an element of something different in there as well. So Earth Rocker was a crowd pleaser, essentially. It was a massive celebration of everything that's great about Clutch and everything that's great about rock and roll music. This one adds a twist to it, and it's, you know, it's a bit more of a adventurous record in some ways. I mean, you've probably heard the opening track, and if you've not, you're crazy. X-Ray Visions. That is just a straight up banger of a song. Just brilliant, almost Philip K. Dick sci-fi inspired lyrics with just an interesting American kind of southern twang to it, but with driving riffs, just a absolutely thumping chorus. It is just a great way to kick things off. and then we get into Firebirds. It's another great American song about cars. These subjects are so cliched, and in any other hands they would just really sound hackneyed and so off-putting. There's so much about American rock music that really puts me off, and I never encountered that with Clutch. It's made America something I'm so jaded towards, particularly when in lyrics and rock music. It's made America interesting to me. It just focuses on all the backwoods and the dirty little seedy back alleys and motels and things all the way through. It's just got this chain going through it, and this continues into, you know, Firebirds. You know, pretty much a song about a car and just like hitting the road and stuff. But like I say, in a much more kind of gritty, sinister edge. And then Quick Death in Texas again continues this narrative form of being on the run from a jealous husband. This guy's fooling around, but there's so much humour, there's so much kind of joy in it, in addition to the gritty legitimacy, and that's something that Clutch have always had. I mean, Neil Fallon is just one of the best frontmen in the history of rock music, one of the best lyricists in the history of rock music. His vocals on this are just absolutely on fire. The grit is kind of is really kind of back in the same way that it was in Earth Rocker, but he's just got a level of proficiency that we've not heard from him before. There's, you know, his bluesy baritone, which, you know, he's really become an accomplished singer, but he's still got that hardcore punk edge to him, bellowing almost like a southern Brian Blessed, which is a strange analogy, but you get where I'm coming from. Great song title, Sucker for the Witch, is just an absolute romp, like somebody's kind of obsession with kind of witches and how they appear in his lyrics and things. Doom Saloon is just a wonderful break in the middle of the album, kind of like a Wild West kind of tumbleweed kind of song. And then there's a ballad on here, well, kind of a ballad. It's called Our Electric Lady of Light, Our Lady of Electric Light. And it is, it's one of the best things on here. So that even though the majority of this album is really heads down, fucking punk, groovy kind of funk, this song kind of brings things down, but it never dips the momentum. There's still an air of kind of menace, and there's melancholy, and again Neil Fallon's vocals are great. JP Gaster's drums are very kind of understated, and you know, that rhythm section, locking in with Dan Maines, just really keeps it going. And then there's some lovely bluesy fills from Tim Salt on the guitar there. Again, a really underrated player as well, Tim Salt. They're all underrated musicians as far as I'm concerned. I've seen JP Gaster live, absolutely blows me away. I went to see a gig with my dad once, and he said it's probably the best drummer he's seen since John Bonham. People don't understand how hard it is to hit that 4 on the floor swing. You know, it sounds like he's meat and potatoes, but you don't know anything about music if you think that Clutch has a simplistic style. They're not showy musicians, but everything they do is executed in a way that nobody I've heard, barring a handful of musicians, can touch. And then it just picks up the pace after that. Noble Savage, Behold the Colossus, Decapitation Blues, just a fucking hat trick of absolute heads down, banging, life-affirming rock music with fucking phenomenal riffs. Just absolutely fucking Decapitation Blues has a decapitating riff on it. You will fucking get your head blown off by some of these riffs. It's just the swing that they get on it. It's just so Clutch, really. It's the idiosyncrasies that they bring into every one of these songs. Just is something that nobody else can replicate. Like I say, you know, I don't want to compare them to AC/DC because they're a lot more adventurous and experimental than AC/DC, and they do branch out into other things. But you know, people say like, oh, you know, it's just a really kind of simple, you know, pub rock or whatever. But nobody else can execute it with that same vigor. Nobody else can actually hit those supposedly simple riffs and rhythms with the same swagger that's required. And you know, that's the same way I feel about AC/DC and Clutch. Sorry, but yeah, this album is just, it has hidden depths to it as well. There's an instant kind of hit that you can get from it, that lovely little caffeine hit that you get from a really good uplifting rock and roll record, but at the same time you've also got hidden depths to it, and I know it's going to reveal itself more to me. Only re-listened to it, you know, 2 or 3 times so far, but I'm discovering new things, I'm discovering new depths, I'm discovering new things in the lyrics that make me laugh. I cannot recommend this album enough. We just live in such a fucking jaded environment where music is a commodity. It's just a product. There's so many bands that aren't even fucking bands anymore. They're just products. They don't fucking... on the surface it seems so fine, but they're so airbrushed to within an inch of their life. It's just all about image. It's just empty, and mediocrity is celebrated. And in this place where everybody is so apathetic and jaded, it is just absolutely fantastic to have a band like Clutch that make music important, that make rock and roll matter, that tell you straight up why it's important to people, why we still need bands like this, and why the world needs bands like Clutch. So it's a 10 out of 10 from me. Fucking fantastic band. I know I've gushed all the way through this, but you know what? I always was a gusher. Still, Clutch, Psychic Warfare. Check it out and bang your fucking head to your neck breaks, because this is top quality stuff. Got another few kind of reviews coming up soon anyway. I'm going to have a crack at the new Trivium album. I'm going to discuss a few things that happened earlier on in the year. And yeah, let me know what you think of the new Clutch album. Am I just being an absolute fucking fanboy loser? I mean, yes, obviously. But am I exaggerating, or is it really that fucking good? I think it's really that fucking good. Let me know anyway, and I'll see you later.